Today on the newscast, Jordan warns Israel's new government to not change the status quo atop the Temple Mount when it comes to prayer. Are we headed for a showdown in Jerusalem? Get my take next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. We want to start this week with a big thank you to all of our Watchman viewers, our subscribers. We reached 500,000 subscribers over the weekend. And folks, we can't thank you enough for standing by our side, shoulder to shoulder, as watchmen and women on the wall for such a time as this, and subscribing to the Watchman News channel right here on YouTube. Hey, 500,000, a very exciting milestone. We're thankful to you, and of course we are thankful to God for giving us the opportunity to come to you every single day here on the channel, and we believe even better things lie ahead. If you have not subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. Folks, the Middle East never sleeps, even on the weekends, and things are happening so rapidly in the world's most volatile, chaotic, and strategic region that we want to keep you posted. We're coming to you every day, Monday through Friday, and now on Saturdays as well, with breaking, cutting-edge content that you will not see anywhere else. So stick with us as we continue to go forward in truth here on the Watchman News channel. Speaking of truth, here is a truism. Benjamin Netanyahu won Israel's elections last week, a resounding victory for his Likud party and their coalition partners. And now Bibi is meeting with those coalition partners, and they're trying to decide who will have which position in the new government. Now remember, Netanyahu has said he would like the new government to take office in the middle of this month, so mid-November. Right now is difficult. There's wrangling, there's negotiations among the various factions that will form this government. Okay, who will be the defense minister? Who will be the finance minister, the foreign minister, the education minister, and so on? There is a lot to decide right now. Remember, you have Netanyahu's Likud party heading this coalition, along with United Torah Judaism, Shas, and the Religious Zionism Party. Now, the Religious Zionism Party, Itamar Ben-Gvir, is one of the leaders of that party. He has ascended the Temple Mount in recent months. The likes of Hamas and radical jihadis have not liked that very much, to say the least. But now we have Jordan as well. Israel has had a peace treaty with Jordan now since 1994. Jordan also sounding the alarm over this new Israeli government potentially changing what's been called the status quo atop the Temple Mount, the holiest site in Judaism, very important to Christians as well, of course. Now, the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock, two Muslim holy sites, now sit atop the Temple Mount, but that was the spot where Solomon's Temple and the Second Temple, Jewish temples, once stood. Will this new coalition, the new government in Israel, look to change that status quo when it comes to prayer? Jews are not permitted to pray atop this site, folks. Kind of hard to believe there. Now, in a minute, we'll break down what we can expect from this new Israeli government when it comes to the Temple Mount. But first, speaking of Hamas, cities and towns like Beersheba in Israel's Negev desert region have been targeted repeatedly by Hamas rockets. Now you can help those communities in the Negev through our good friends at Artza. This month's Artza Box subscription features Israeli-made products straight from the Negev. Now, we've been partnering with Artza for a while now here on the newscast because we really believe in what they are doing. Each Artza Box features amazing products from a different city or region in Israel, all made in Israel by Israeli small businesses. And folks, I love this. Proceeds from every Negev box go to support a great Israeli organization in the Negev called Adi. The residents of Adi are children, adolescents, and adults with severe disabilities, and they even created one of the products in this month's Negev box, a beautiful handcrafted plate straight from the Holy Land. Hey, the holidays are right around the corner, and this is a great gift for anyone in your life who loves God's land and wants to fulfill that biblical mandate to bless Israel. Just go to artzabox.com and use the discount code WATCHMAN20 to get 20% off your Artza Box subscription. It's a good deal and a great cause, and we hope you enjoy it. Hey, speaking of causes, more and more Jews are ascending the Temple Mount. We reported here in the newscast a few weeks ago that during the recent high holiday season, close to 10,000 Jews ascended the Temple Mount, which again is the holiest site in Judaism. It was the site of both temples. Also, as for me as a follower of Jesus, hey, Jesus taught in that second temple, chased the money changers out of the temple, spent time as a young boy, as we learn, 12-year-old, was lost from his parents for a time in the temple. So very significant for us as well. And God's divine presence, according to the Bible, once dwelt atop the Temple Mount. The Ark of the Covenant was there. So needless to say, for Christians and Jews, a very, very important site. But of course, the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, as I mentioned, are there now. We've got more and more Jews ascending the Temple Mount. This will be a record. 2022 will be a record number. But since Israel recaptured Jerusalem, Jerusalem was divided no longer. In 1967 Six-Day War, Jordan has been the custodian of the Temple Mount, and Jews are not permitted to pray there. Folks, if Jews try to pray openly atop the Temple Mount, they will be arrested, or at least there's a very good chance they will be arrested. It's such a flashpoint. It's so tense. I've spent a lot of time atop the Temple Mount. I can tell you it gets very tense, but Jews are saying now more and more, they're asking, why can't we pray atop our holiest site? This isn't right. Jews prayed there close to 3,000 years ago, and we can't pray atop the Temple Mount. This is why you see so many Jews, folks, at the Western Wall, the retaining wall of the Temple Mount, praying there. So what will we see going forward with the new Israeli government? We've had a groundswell, more and more people wanting to pray atop the Temple Mount. Israel's new government, obviously, the religious Zionist component of it, like Itamar Ben-Gvir. These are people who strongly believe in prayer atop the Temple Mount. So will we see that status quo change? I don't know that Prime Minister Netanyahu would look to do that and stir the pot, especially early on in his tenure as prime minister here. But will there be more momentum now that Israel has a right-wing government? Will there be more momentum in that regard? Folks, this is going to be very interesting to watch. We've been reporting here in the newscast about a lot of chatter surrounding the third temple. The Bible's very clear that a temple will be built, a third temple, atop the Temple Mount eventually. And will we see more momentum towards that? We reported here in the newscast, of course, the red heifers who are crucial to temple sacrifice. Unblemished red heifers recently arrived in Israel. So there's a lot going on surrounding the Temple Mount and the third temple, which brings us to the opposition. I mentioned Jordan. Again, Israel and Jordan have a peace. You could call it a cold peace, but a peace nonetheless. But Jordan, again, the custodian of the Temple Mount, and they are saying, if the status quo changes, if a guy like Itamar Ben-Gvir starts to ascend the Temple Mount as a minister in the new government, that's going to be a big problem, and there will be tensions. We've already had tension between Jordan and Israel, diplomatic tensions over the past few years. King Abdullah in Jordan and Prime Minister Netanyahu aren't seen as having the greatest relationship. So it's going to be interesting to see that, to watch how that unfolds going forward with Jordan. Also, of course, I mentioned Hamas. I mentioned the radical jihadi elements. When it comes to the Temple Mount, folks, they use that as a rallying cry for their supporters. Every time a Jew ascends to the Temple Mount to visit, it seems, Hamas starts stirring things up, and they're accusing Israel of defiling the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is the kind of rhetoric that led to the war between Israel and Hamas in May 2021, when Prime Minister Netanyahu, when he was still Prime Minister, his second go-round. So look for the Temple Mount. Folks, and the Bible is very clear. The prophet Zechariah says a day is coming when Jerusalem will become a burdensome stone, and anyone who comes against it will be cut to pieces. More and more, the city of Jerusalem, which is the center of the world, and in particular the Temple Mount, the most coveted piece of real estate in the world, will be the focus of the world's attention. We're watching it all very close for you, and we'll see how this new government develops. Who will be the defense minister? That's a big one for me. Who will help to lead Israel's defense posture going forward? We're about to find out. And again, this new government will take office, if all goes according to plan, sometime this month. Folks, we live in perilous times, no doubt, but these are also Bible times. We're so glad you're with us here on the Watchman Newscast so we can navigate and walk through these times together for such a time as this. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here today on the newscast. Until tomorrow, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.